Hey, welcome to Sports Unfolded, episode 9.
It's just time is just rolling
It,
right
it is
along.
it is flying. We got a really special show for you tonight. If you're joining us live on YouTube, Facebook, we appreciate it. Thank you. Follow us at Sports Unfolded on Facebook and Twitter. We're going to have our leadoff story. Julian Edelman announced his retirement this week. He played all 12 seasons with the New England Patriots. If you think about what he did, or what New England's done with the slot receiver position, and he just fit that mold to a T. So they had Troy Brown, Wes Welker, and then Julian Edelman. When you talk about three just quality superstars in that run,
Doesn't get much better than that, right?
doesn't. He's going to be missed. Obviously, the chronic knee injury it was something that it was beyond control.
Kind of saw it coming, you know.
Yeah, missed several games last season.
It's heartbreaking because like he's a guy that you want in that locker room too. Like, I mean, there's a lot of heart and soul of the Patriots in him, and like, is there anybody else that makes a perfect example of what a Patriot is?
Currently, at this point, I would say not on the team. And if you look at the run that they had with Julian Edelman, it was just something that, you know what I mean? It's undocumented. We did a Twitter poll. 55% of them considered him the best wide receiver in the franchise's history. You agree?
Well, I mean, the better receiver obviously is Randy Moss, but he didn't spend a lot of time with the Patriots.
Yeah.
So if you take that in consideration, then yeah, I would say Edelman is.
So I mean, I looked at some of the numbers. Stanley Morgan. I mean, nobody really gave him credit for what he did in the era.
Great receiver.
If you think about the times. So I still think Stanley Morgan probably overall. And then you still got to look. Wes Welker is actually our all-time leading receiver in Patriot history. So if you look at it from that standpoint, I mean, technically Wes Welker is the all-time leading receiver. That's you're not even including Grunt because I didn't do it with tight ends. So 66.
It's a good problem to have, I guess.
It is very good, very good. What about 66% that he should not be in the Hall of Fame?
I think he should be. Because he's won championships. You know, you got to put that in effect. And I know, like, a lot of people out there across, the world, and they're saying, oh, well, he doesn't have the numbers as a lot of players have. You can't just count, playoffs. Isn't that what it's all about, really?
Yeah, so I think normally
it's all about championships.
Yeah, normally you look at it you could look at it a couple different ways.
I don't care if he was garbage throughout the regular season and then shows up in the playoffs and lights it up. That's a Hall of Famer in my book.
620 receptions regular season, 36 touchdowns, 6,800 yards. Nothing overwhelming, like you said. For 12 seasons, 118 receptions in the playoffs. 1,442 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 1 Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah.
If you can combine the
Hall
two,
of Famer.
To me, I think if they're going to look at the whole scope of what he did in his career, including the playoffs, absolutely. If you're going just off regular season numbers, he's not a Hall of Famer.
Right.
So it's really going to be based on how the committee or how they feel.
It's like that in all sports. Like you look at players and say baseball, they might be, just a barely above average player. But when they get into those playoffs and World Series, and they show what they can do, that's where it counts. I'm sorry, that's where it counts. And that weighs more than a regular season.
Yeah, we're going to have to see how it turns out. I don't think he's going to get in. Obviously, he'll be a Patriot all-time Hall of Fame player. He'll be what we call the red jacket. Without a doubt. But unfortunately, I don't think he's going to have the credentials to get in otherwise. But it'll be interesting to see how that goes.
Yeah, we'll see.
So we are privileged to be joined live today in our studio. So we're excited about having a live studio audience with us. If you are interested at any point in time, let us know. Reach out to the page. We can definitely give you information on how you can join us for a live showing. We are on every Friday night at 6 p.m. There it is. Yes.
Don't forget about the fan.
Yes. And we also got, a very special fan, donated some of our material for our set today. So we're kind of excited about having our own Sports Unfolded. We're finally making it.
Yeah.
We're making it in the world. It's pretty exciting.
Yeah, it is exciting. I like having the cup. Thank you so much for sending that to us.
So we've got a great show. We're going to obviously do some interviews from time to time. So we have the privilege tonight of being joined by the Providence Pirates president and CEO, Sir John Fernucci. We're going to try to get Sir John on the Dr.Fix-IT hotline at this point and see if we can get Sir John on.
Yeah, let's go, Doctor.
Sir John, how are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
We're doing very well. Thank you for joining us tonight. We appreciate it.
Oh, thanks for having me.
So, can you let the fans out there know a little bit about yourself?
Well, where should I start? Long story, but I'm from Turkey originally. I was born and raised there. I moved to US when I was 19. Spent about a couple of years just learning the language, English, which was challenging. After that, spent a year in junior college, then played Division II basketball. Then after I graduated, I coached about 15 years in different levels, including college, D1, 2, 3, high school, as well as the Turkish national team in the youth levels. And then, but in 2019, I decided to go my dream of owning a team, and then start the Pirates in September 2019 very slowly. So that's kind of a short term. That's who I am, how everything started and everything.
Yeah, so I did have the opportunity. I looked on your LinkedIn and I saw that you have a ton of basketball experience. Does that make it easier for you running a franchise? Did you kind of have an idea of what you were looking for, how you wanted the franchise to progress?
Definitely does. Definitely does. But I always tell my staff, we never stop learning. There are a lot of things we still need to, learn. And we did learn this year in our short season. But it definitely helped me get myself ready for this adventure I started a couple of years ago.
So you already stated September 19th of 2019, the Providence Pirates were founded. What was that process involved? How did that come about? How were you able to get into the ABA and obviously get a team in Providence?
Well, I moved back to the New England area. My wife is from Boston area, and we moved back here about 4 years ago. And I always been in the lookout for in a location where I can start an organization. Before we moved here, we were in Colorado. Colorado's more remote. There's not much going around. It's bigger states. It's hard to travel around. And we moved back here, and I was already doing my research before I moved back to Rhode Island, to be honest. And then when we get here, I said Providence could be a good location because it's a sports town to start off. Basketball is number one sport here, with high level college basketballs, PC, URIs, and other D1s as well. I thought it could be a good chance for me to start it here. Again, top process about 4 or 5 years, to be honest. And then research. It took about 2 years for me. What league I would like to join, when should I start? So 2018 and 19 years, basically almost right before COVID started. I did a lot of research. I did a lot of traveling within the region. I went to a lot of games in New York, Pennsylvania, and Virginia, just to see what's out there, how other teams are doing, and how ABA looks. And I had multiple conversations with the CEO of ABA, Joe Newman. He was very candid with me, a lot of different things. Tell me it's not easy to run an organization like this. So I, basically having my background in coaching athletic directors, I was ready to, start this journey. So that's how everything started. That's how everything kind of evolved in about 4 or 5 years. But, we were actually ready to roll in spring 2020. Obviously, we had to put a big pause on that before we get going.
How did you come up with the name, and what about the logo? Was that something that you basically put out there and saw our fans what they would want, or is that something that came from an internal?
Well, that was the original idea, but I wanted to, first of all, I'm new to the state. So didn't know many people out there. So I'm like, well, being in the athletics for a long time, almost lifelong, basically. I have my surroundings with good people. Starting my wife, and then a lot of coaches that I know around. And Pirates kind of rhyme very good with Ocean State. So and then there's some kind of history about the Pirates in Providence as well, way back in the day. So we thought it could be a good idea. There are several different names we were thinking about, but Pirates kind of rise to the top above all. And we just started with it, and now logo came with a lot of research we've done, and then we hired a company to do that for us. And we wanted some kind of mean looking pirate, but not too mean, and also a basketball in there. We don't want to have like this, very soft looking pirate, childish pirate. There's a bunch of pirates out there, as you can see in the logos. But we wanted kind of a little bit unique version of ours. And then, that group that we worked with, they did a good job, in a few months, and then presented us these logos, and then we decide on the current one right now.
Yeah, I like them. I think they're really good. It's a good fit.
Thank you. We get a lot of compliments about it. I'm like, thank God.
Right? Yeah. The team recently completed the exhibition season. They finished winning 4 straight. What do you think helped the turnaround? How do you think did they finally? I know there was some issues with practice early on. Did that seem to help, or was it just more of them getting more comfortable with playing in the league?
Well, original plan was to have the combines and tryouts in August and September. Obviously, we couldn't get a gym, we couldn't get in locations to even host it. So, it started in mid-October. We had our first combine, and our second plan was, okay, we have one more combine in right after Thanksgiving, and let's get going after that. So beginning of December. And then we all know that our state put a pause for about several weeks during that time frame. So we had to cancel that and then move that to January, late January. So a lot of like roadblocks we hit when we're trying to do this mini season. And when we did that, it took a lot of time. And I was hiring people to come on board in the front office. And I was lucky enough to have my dear friend Paul Rogers, join me as a GM, and then Coach Mark Gaffney came on. Again, I'm lucky to have those people with me on my side, very knowledgeable people about basketball, and that's how everything started. Because again, I have staff, younger staff, but I need some experience in my front office to help me out with this process. So when they came on board, it started with Paul and Mark went on just tried to reach out to a lot of people, kind of got group of people in the combines. Combine started. It was very hard selection, to be honest. And then my staff, we vote on all the players. So one thing I want to do this year was want to make it more unique than because usually who make the decisions, GM and the head coach, they are the ones that select the teams. But this year we said, okay, we're gonna have everybody involved in our staff. So all 14 of us, we watched the combines and talked, sat down, a bunch of Zoom meetings, and then we had a little vote going. And then that's how the team was actually built when it comes to all the 14 guys. And then, as you said, that happened. Then we still had issues with the COVID. Couldn't get a gym time, couldn't get locations to practice. So first we got about a few days a week. Then it went down to twice a week. Then the last couple of weeks we had there one practice a week because there was no gym available in the area. But we knew all these guys who gave it all for us for this last 2.5 months. We knew that they were going to start molding and then start playing better each game. And that's what happened. Yes, we started the first 4 games like we were 1-3. But lost those 3 games by 1 or 2 points. It was very, very close. And then they start getting after it. And we start getting the first win, then second, third, and fourth. And it was a great way to end the mini season because, nobody wants to lose. We all know we're in the sports business. We all want to win. We don't lose any games. But we know there was a lot of handicaps we had to face throughout. And guys did a good job. Coach did it, and Paul did a good job just making sure everybody's taken care of. Everybody's getting what they need. I I was a pizza guy. Get you guys pizzas. Make sure you guys get fed after the games. So and then again, it's one thing I was telling the players. We met with them earlier this week. Said it's just sad you had a mini season because it feels like you guys like start getting a roll, and then if we had a regular season, I know we can get like a lot more wins, and then finish like in a very good record in this season. So they all excited. They all excited about how we've done this season, and they excited for next season. So again, it was very challenging. COVID tests. We had to do COVID tests every week. Not a lot of teams do that in our league. We do it. We require it. They sign a lot of waivers. Guys that usually don't do those in the regular season, so they have to do a lot of different things just to play basketball. So, but they followed through, and that's how the little mini season, exhibition season went for us this year.
Great. Once again, if you're joining us, this is Sports Unfolded. We're live with Sir John Fernucci, the president and CEO of the Providence Pirates, on the Dr.Fix-IT hotline. If you could say when the regular season is going to start now for the Pirates, when is the first official regular season game now?
So game will be the weekend after Halloween, so that the first days in November 1st, 2nd. So we're looking at that weekend. We may have our first game. We don't know. Schedule hasn't been out because ABA season is actually being played this weekend for the final 8. They're playing actually today and tomorrow, and after that is over. I'm sure next few weeks we're gonna have some meetings with the owners and then start shaping up the schedule. But end of October, beginning of November, that's where we should have our first game. We have a lot more stuff before we even get to that. I tell my guys, the players, and then the staff that we have camps and clinics coming up. We have 4 clinics next week in different YMCAs. We have summer leagues coming up in Providence. First time I'm telling that to anybody right now. Nobody knows about this yet, but you're going to host a summer league for youth and the adults in the summer. So that's coming up. And a lot of updates will be, in our website and our social media in the next few weeks coming up for everybody who's interested in learning more about those. So, there's a lot of steps you can get to the first game. I'm like, let's go through this next week for the camps and clinics, go week by week. But that's what we're shooting for. At the end of October, beginning of November.
So, you said that you're going to start working on the schedule. What about retaining some of the players that are here now? What is your process to keep those intact or move on from some players?
Well, great question. So this next week, me, Coach, and Paul will sit down at least 3-4 times. We're gonna meet, have some lunch, dinner, whatever we need to do, and have lengthy conversations about each player, and then see who we think there's a fit for us, who could get better, who may move on. A couple of guys may want to go play overseas, which we have some contacts we talk to, and then so they may not be with us just because of that reason. And so our roster is going to shape up, probably going to be a little bit different. I can see, some of the guys going back and some not. And I may get new players to, block up our roster.
So do you have again, tryouts and things coming up this spring, summer? Is that the process?
Yes. So our combines and tryouts will be August and September. Dates to be determined. So we have to make sure that we are in talks with several different locations. I know we're going to do a couple in Providence, and then we're going to have a couple in the southern Mass. It's going to be a few players from there came through to our roster this year too. So we want to reach out to those players on that area as well.
So what can the fans expect from the team, from the organization? Obviously, I see you're involved a lot with the community. So what can the fans expect to see from the Providence Pirates every night that they're representing Providence?
Well, first of all, we want to be a family-oriented organization, inside out. We care about our guys, our staff. We care about, hey, you gotta, for one of our players, is about to be a baby in a few days. So it's pretty excited. We are very pumped for him. So that's one thing that you want to do. Family, you want to have that environment that when fans come to the games, they can bring their kids and then have like a entertaining and watch an entertaining game for a couple hours, enjoy, and don't spend arm and a leg for it to come to a game.
Yep.
So that's something that I know. I don't know you guys, but a lot of people here, myself, we are Celtics fans. We are, but going to a Celtics game, first of all, you're gonna drive at least an hour without traffic, and then gotta park, gotta get tickets for four people going to a game. If it costs you $300, that's a good night.
Just parking would be more than trying to go to a Pirates game.
Exactly.
You pay parking up in Boston, forget it.
Exactly. So that's why it's going to be a lot more affordable for everybody to come watch a semi-professional game and watch guys who's from this area, not from New York, not from Chicago. You're going to be all Rhode Island and Southern Mass players. Just like we did this year, we're not going to get off that business plan. So that's our goal again.
Sir John Fanucci, Providence Pirates President and CEO. I want to thank you tonight for joining Sports Unfolded on the Dr. Fix-IT Hotline. It's been a pleasure speaking with you.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you guys having me on this, and I appreciate you having you guys on our game.
Yeah, we love doing it.
See you guys more.
Yeah, we'll be talking.
Yeah,
we really appreciate it. We appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
Don't hesitate to reach out, to us if you're doing some sort of a charity event. We'll be more than happy to lend a hand, if not just advertising for it, but actually to be there with you guys.
Definitely. I'll definitely mark your words, and then we'll reach out for sure, because we have stuff coming up in the next couple of months. We'll be doing a lot of community and charity events with several different organizations. So we'd love to have you guys there as well.
We appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Take care. Have a good night. Once again, if you're joining us, that was President and CEO of the Providence Pirates, Sir John Fanucci. So we're really excited. That was a great interview.
It was.
Yeah.
And the thing is, we've had the coach and also GM on here as well. And it's really, truly a pleasure talking to them, because they're very open and honest about, what they're trying to accomplish.
You can see they're building an organization that obviously it stands for something. And they're all on the same page, which is nice to see that every one of them has, the same mindset of where they want to go and how they want the organization to be run. So really, really good.
And Tim wants us to bring the Pirates into the complex
for a personal show. So we'll try to work that out.
On that, actually. We'll contact, the team, of course. And we have very good contact with them. So,
and Rebecca Fanucci also said go Pirates, so that's great. We appreciate the Pirates have been really good to us, and we hope to do things in the future with them.
Absolutely.
Let's continue to talk basketball, since we're already on the basketball kick. I love suck the NBA. So NBA, Alex Rodriguez and Mark Lore are close to purchasing the Minnesota Timberwolves and Lynx franchises, saying the price estimated around $1.5 billion. Will you see A-Rod as a successful owner? Do you think he can correlate and become a successful owner?
I think he can. I mean, look, what has Minnesota done since
Garnett? Absolutely nothing. They're one of the worst franchises.
They got to do something that's better. I mean, it can't get much worse. They've had a lot of good players come through there. So I think the success is really the only way they can do. I mean, they can't have no success. There's got to be some sort of an improvement there somehow.
So I was curious though, how is the baseball going to translate to basketball? Is there they're young talent, they're rookie. Anthony Edwards came out, he didn't even know who A-Rod was. So you know what I mean? It's like the disconnect between the baseball, basketball. I don't know. I mean, they got Karl Anthony Towns. He's one of the best young men in the NBA, but they're 14-40 this season. I mean, technically they're saying it's about a 2-year process before he actually owns the team outright with Mark Lore, and they're able to make decisions and moves. I don't know. I don't think he's going to be very successful with it.
I mean, you look at it this way. Okay, so they got 14. Maybe they might squeak out another one. Who knows? They might not. Next year, it's going to be the same thing.
They were a lottery pick. They're going to be one of the top picks again.
So then you're looking at in a couple of years where he could own the team, do you think he's going to want to win? Yeah, I think he is. And I think he's going to do what it takes to at least improve on that. Like, there's going to be some degree of success, whether that's 25 wins, you know? I mean, that's still a
So let me
success.
ask you this. What would you consider successful?
To consider successful, I would think they'd have to get to like 50. I think 50 wins would be.
That's a lot. Okay. All right, we'll have to see how that works
That's
out.
a success because that puts you in the
Playoffs, and it most likely, yeah.
and that's what you want. You want to be a strong playoff team, and that is a success.
I think overall, you got to be able to make some tough decisions. Carl Anthony Towns probably has to get traded because that's your biggest piece to get more pieces in.
Yeah, and that's
will he be willing to do that?
That they'll go through. They'll unload a lot of players, get the draft picks, start completely over,
build their own team.
Minnesota doesn't want to hear that,
but realistically, that's where they're going. That's where they're going. That's what makes the most sense. What about Jamal Murray? So he got a torn ACL injury. He's done for the season. We when they made the trade for Aaron Gordon, both made a call on here saying that we believe that they would be one of the front runners for the West. Does this hurt that chance?
It kills the chance. It's over.
So you think it's done?
It's over. It's over. They're not going anywhere. I mean, there's no way.
Ladies and gentlemen out there, do you agree with Ron? Because I don't know if I believe that one.
They're not going anywhere.
No boos, nothing. I need a boo out there because there's definitely got to be somebody that doesn't agree with that.
Not only they'll probably hang on to a playoff spot, but they will not win a game in the playoffs.
They got the Joker, who's the best big man in the league right now.
Yep.
Michael Porter Jr., who's averaging 17.5 points. Aaron Gordon, who's averaging 14. Yep. They've got a good core of players. I don't think this team, I mean, Jamal Murray was averaging 21 points a game.
What if they play the Clippers?
You're telling me these other guys can't average a couple more points?
If they play anybody that's got a good team.
The Clippers choke every year in the playoffs. Then they've proven that.
Yeah, but they're going to get by Denver.
The Lakers are done.
They're going to end up playing somebody that's pretty good. And
the Sun and the Jazz are the two teams that I would say you'd have to worry about most overall. And again, neither one of them are really playoff tested.
Yeah, I think they're gonna get swept in the playoffs.
Swept in the playoffs, ladies and gentlemen. You're hearing it.
Swept in the playoffs.
I don't know what Ron's been drinking. What's in your Sports Unfolded cup? Marcus Aldridge.
Still some water.
Retired from the NBA after 15 seasons. Averaged 9 points, 8 rebounds. Played for Portland, the Spurs, and the Nets. It was due to a medical condition. He had a heart.
Yeah, that was a short run for the Nets with him.
Yeah.
I mean,
and it's a shame because he's been on some really good teams, Portland teams, the Spurs teams. Couldn't get to the championship. This really looked like he had an opportunity to do that. He's always been a outstanding guy where you haven't heard much about him getting in trouble or having any issues. And for it to be the reason why he had to kind of leave the game, it's a little shame.
It's sad. It's kind of sad. I mean, you feel for him because he probably would have won a championship.
Had his best shot. This would have been his best shot.
Yeah, it doesn't get much easier than this, really. I mean, when you think about it. I mean,
so
the team was stacked.
I wish him well. Good luck, Marcus, on your journeys, going forward. He said it's obviously family came first on this decision, which makes sense. So good luck. Once again, if you're joining us, we're on Rhode Island Broadcasting. We stream live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch at 6 p.m. every Friday night. If you want, join us. Follow us on social media on Facebook or Twitter at Sports Unfolded, on Instagram at Sports_Unfolded.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to comment because we pretty much read everybody's comments on.
We do. We love Tim. Tim's our number one fan. We love Tim. And we're being joined by a live studio audience. So anytime you want to join us, you have an opportunity to come down to the studio and watch a live showing of Sports Unfolded. I know this is one of your favorite topics. Let's talk some NHL. Let's talk my hockey guy, the Boston Bruins. We did our sports flash on Wednesday, and we discussed some of the trades. Boston Bruins acquired Taylor Hall, Mike Riley, and Curtis Lazar.
Yep.
All three players played on the game on Wednesday night.
Yeah, they actually drove from their various spots.
Right. Beat the Sabres.
So that way they can get to the games.
Got over the hump last night, right? Beat the Islanders, playing the Islanders again tonight. Taylor Hall got his first goal for the Boston Bruins.
He looks fantastic. They all do. To be honest with you, they all look fantastic.
So, with these trades, are they a contender for the Stanley Cup now?
Absolutely, absolutely. And you can see it in the play. Just knowing that you have Krejci, Hall, and Smith. They are buzzing around. They are everywhere. I think they've been the best line, since the trade. So I mean, it's only 2 games, right? It's only 2 games,
Yeah.
and we shouldn't just give them the Stanley Cup right now. But this team looks good. And you have, of course, the Bergeron line, and Charlie Coyle's line has been playing well. He's been struggling putting the puck in the net, but he's still playing well enough defensively on the faceoff dot and dishing the puck off and just controlling the puck. And he's eating up a lot of the clock because he's so big and strong. They can't knock him off the puck. So he's just keeps cycling down low, and they just can't take the puck from him. And that does a lot. It wears out the defense.
Yeah.
So he's been playing well, just hasn't put it in.
So I'll say this, and I'll tell the fans out there, all our live viewers, Jeff Dion watching now. Appreciate you, Jeff. Thank you for joining us. What about the fact that Ron, the hockey guy, said, what does the Bruins have to do? Go get a defenseman, right?
Yep.
They need some defensive help. Mike Riley has been phenomenal.
Wow,
right?
Who would have thought that? That's right now. That's the steal of the trade deadline. To be honest with you,
you called it.
Yeah.
So great call, right? The hockey guy. If you don't think he knows what he's talking about with hockey, that proved it. What about Tuukka Rask? Got his 300th win. He came back.
Nice to see.
So what do you think with Swayman and him now? Is that the 2 goalie combo that
I believe Swayman will probably play tonight because they're not going to play Rask back to back.
He is playing tonight.
So and I expect the Bruins to come out just like they did yesterday. And I don't expect anything different from them. I think they're gonna play well, and hopefully they can top the Islanders again, because now they have a shot at catching, Pittsburgh. This team is playing well. It's like they just woke up from a deep sleep and just now looks like a buzzsaw.
A couple of injuries that if they Rask coming back, Kevin Miller's been out. So if they can get him back, defensively.
Yeah, he's on one of those schedules now where he's going to play every other game, I believe, because they want to keep him healthy for the playoffs. So and that is smart because, I mean, he's been very important to
we did have a Facebook poll if the moves helped the Bruins, get to the Stanley Cup, and 60% agree that it did. So we'll have to see. I mean,
it's still a couple of teams out there that are
there's some really good teams. Tampa Bay still looks like the favorite.
Bay, Toronto.
They picked up some, guys in the trade
Washington
deadline. So we'll have to see.
Yeah.
NFL news.
Let's
talk about Aaron Donald is facing assault charges after an altercation in a Pittsburgh nightclub. How do you think the NFL will handle this?
I'm surprised they haven't come out and said anything as of now. But I mean, if you look at the video, I mean,
I actually saw the video. It's on Bleacher Report. I'm doing a quick snot, but if they want to shout out to Sports Unfolded, we'd appreciate that as well. Aaron Donald doesn't even look like he was involved in the altercation. I think, the accuser's looking for some financial settlement, which his attorneys already said, no, that's not going to happen. They'll go through the process. So I think the NFL is just waiting to see how the legal process, all comes out. I mean, they're a Super Bowl contender. They picked up Stafford. They've got a lot of talent on that team. He's been the defensive player of the year, or one of the top defensive players of the year every year.
That team actually has a chance to win that division, especially, if some certain quarterbacks decide to, change teams.
Yeah, I mean,
it could happen.
There we go, Jimmy G. Every show, Jimmy G conversation.
No.
Every show.
None of that. I'm just saying, if in case it's not just about him, it could be Seattle.
Okay. Yes. I like the way you tried to stare that. Really, really good. Seattle. Okay. What about Jadeveon Clowney signed a 1-year contract worth up to a $10 million deal with the Cleveland Browns. Does this make the Cleveland Browns the favorite in the AFC? In the AFC.
That's pretty good. I don't know if it makes them the favorite, because I'd still have to say Kansas City is the favorite. I mean, they're the team that went to the Super Bowl, and then they're the team that won the previous one. So until, like, hey, we went there a couple of years ago, everybody was saying, "Oh, Cleveland's going to, roll through the division," and then they still didn't even make the playoffs that year. And then last year they had a great season. Right? Are they able to make that next step? Can Clowney stay healthy?
He hasn't been able to stay healthy.
So let's not anoint them the AFC Championship.
So if
before they go earn it.
So let's look at what they've done, though. If you look,
it's
at
a
what
great
they
team.
have, I mean, Baker Mayfield, Beckham, Landry.
Yeah,
they picked up Hooper for as a tight end. They got Chubb. They got Garrett.
I certainly put him in the conversation.
You pick up Clowney. They should have beaten the Kansas City Chiefs last season in the playoffs.
Yes. I watched that game. That was a great game.
The key is, though, can they get by the Ravens in their own division? So I think they're a playoff team. AFC favorites, no. There's way too much out there that's
what there's some teams that can contend right here. There's you can't just discard the Bills either.
Buffalo's going to be one of those teams.
They're going to have a good defense.
Yep.
And let's face it, the kid showed that he can play.
Yeah. And they're still going to, Kansas City is still in the AFC. So they got to get by Kansas City. To your point, Buffalo, who were in the AFC Championship game last season. So those two teams are definitely probably a notch above.
And Bill Belichick is going to have something to say this year.
Bill Belichick, yeah. So let's wish Bill Belichick a happy birthday. It's
happy
Bill's birthday,
Bill.
69 years young today. Happy birthday from Sports Unfolded. It's that time. You know what time it is, right? Pick and roll time.
Yeah. This was so hard.
This was a very difficult pick and roll. This was probably one of our when we said the last one with the dynasties,
because depending on what you focus on,
how you look at it,
change everything.
Absolutely. Let's so what we're doing today for our pick and roll is we're ranking these top 5 all-time Celtic greats: Bill Russell, Larry Bird, John Havlicek, Kevin McHale, and Paul Pierce. You went first last week, so I'll go first this week. We're going 5-1. So my number 5 all-time Celtic, Paul Pierce. Paul Pierce, 1 championship, 1 finals MVP in the 1 championship he lost one of them. 19.7 points a game, 5.6 rebounds, 3.5 assists. Played 15 years with the Celtics, but not all his entire career with the Celtics. I kind of put him a notch down in the fact that he only went to 2 finals. Number 4, Kevin McHale. Kevin McHale, 3-time champ, 6-time All-Defensive Player of the Year, 17.9 points, 7.3 rebounds in his 13-year career. Obviously, we know who he played with, so I think that kind of helped him with those stats. But the Defensive Player of the Year piece, to me, was pretty impressive to see. Number 3, John Havlicek, 8-time NBA champion, 8-time All-Defensive Player, 20.8 points a game, 6 rebounds, 4.8 assists, played 16 years with the Boston Celtics. So if you look at John Havlicek, obviously just the sheer, 8 championships alone, that's pretty impressive. So who could go ahead of him? Very tough. Jeff's not going to agree with me, but Larry Bird I have as my number 2 all-time Celtic. 3 championships, 2 MVP finals, 3-time league MVP, which is pretty impressive. 24 points a game, 10 rebounds, so a double-double, 6.3 assists in his 13-year career. Obviously, those 80s and what he did for the NBA and how he transcended the game, and then it went to Jordan in the 90s. So Bird Magic, those battles live on. I think some of it, the injuries towards the end of his career hurt, because I think he wasn't the same player he could have been. And only 3 championships, if you think about all the talent that Boston had. Well, I'm saying, if you think about, between the Lakers and them, and I think the Lakers won more in that period of time with Magic, I think, it kind of hurt a little bit. So I'm going Bill Russell, number 1, 11-time champion, 5-time league MVP.
And that's 13 seasons.
And that's in 13 seasons. So basically, only 2 of his seasons he didn't win a final.
And we did the numbers. He won a championship every 88 games played.
It's insane. Insane. 15 points, 22 rebounds in his career. And the man, I mean, I get it was a different era. I get it was different times, less teams. You can go through all these different stats. To win 11 championships, I don't care how, watered down the league might have been at the time. You still don't see that. You're like you don't see that kind of number come out unless you're that dominant. You brought 11 banners to the Boston Celtics.
Yeah.
11.
Yeah.
They have 17.
Yeah.
He's got the majority. He's got 3/4 of it. How can you not say he's the greatest Celtic of all time? I'm going to have to see what you came up with.
So there must be something in your drink because you have exactly what I have.
Is that not insane?
So
wow.
There must be something wrong with you.
Oh, we're both drinking.
You completely agreed with me.
We're drinking the same stuff.
So and again, it's like Pierce and McHale. That was a tough decision for me. But the defense for McHale, that's what did it for me. And because he did have help with Bird, but he was capable. He was more than capable. And, those numbers, the defensive numbers is ridiculous. Yeah, it's ridiculous. And again, it's like Havlicek. The guy got championships, right? I mean, the Havlicek stole the ball.
Classic Johnny Most.
Right. It's like, again, you said, well, who's better than that? Well, again, you said Bird at number 2. And I do like Larry Bird, one of my favorite all-time players. And Jeffrey, sorry, but Bill Russell with those 11 championships in 13 seasons. I wish that all the teams did that, in Boston. Like, that would be great. I mean, how great would that be? I mean, we experienced Tom Brady with, getting more championships than any team. Like, Bill Russell is pretty close.
Bill Russell is, to me, it's like what Tom Brady did for the Patriots currently.
Yeah.
If you want a modern era type of player, like how successful can they be? Tom's been to 10 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Right. He didn't win them all. He won 7 out of 10, which is really
incredible.
Good. Right. But that's over a 21-year span.
Kelly would have loved to have one of those.
This is 13 years, 11 championships. So like you said, it's basically every year you were expected to go.
Yeah.
But not only go, win.
It's insane.
You just don't see that in sports.
It's insane.
You just gave me a good idea for a new pick and roll. I know we talked about doing the Lakers next week, but what do you think about ranking the all-time New England sports?
Oh, I would love that.
Ooh, Bill Russell, Tom Brady.
Does that include Hartford
Larry
Whalers?
Bird. We could do Hartford Whalers as well.
Ron Francis.
Yeah, the Bruins. We could.
Yeah.
I think that might be our next.
Ron Francis can't touch any of those players.
We'll have to throw that and see if it sticks.
Yeah, I do like that because because they always talk about the Mount Rushmore.
Who's the Mount Rushmore?
How are you only going to put 4 players on that Mount Rushmore in New England?
You can't.
Like, who do you leave out? Like, do you put Poppy or do you put Ted Williams?
I take Tom Brady out. He's no longer.
No. you have Tom Brady.
We know how I feel about Tom Brady.
You still have Bobby Orr.
There's so many players. There's going to be players we can't even put on the list that we should be debating about.
Right. This is what I'm saying.
That might be a tough
all the
one.
baseball players. I mean, you think about that. All the players, like Roger Clemens. Wait, so you can put Williams, you can put Poppy. You're gonna leave off Clemens.
Yeah.
There's
a ways to go. Something we'll think about.
Then we haven't mentioned Nick Bird and Russell and
all right. Well,
it's crazy.
Something to think about. Once again, if you're joining us, we're on Rhode Island Broadcasting. We're on every Friday night at 6 p.m. live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. You can follow us on social media at Facebook and Twitter at Sports Unfolded or on Instagram at Sports_Unfolded. So far, we've had a great show. Really excited about
awesome.
everywhere we went. But do you know what time it is? You know what time it is? It's time for the Sports Unfolded face-off.
Yes, we have our new
timer. So we're gonna turn this bad boy on.
Yeah.
And we're gonna give ourselves a minute on the clock. Although
if you can work it.
I got it. So there's a minute. So when I'm ready to go, you're gonna just hit that start button.
Oh, I got to hit the button.
You're gonna have to hit that button.
Where's
When
the
it's
start
time,
button?
right here.
All right.
All right. So basically, what the face-off's going to be is Steph Curry just became the Golden State Warriors' all-time leading scorer, passing Wilt Chamberlain. Was this stat overrated? One of us has to be for it being overrated. One of us has to be against it, that it was actually worthy of his career with the Golden State Warriors. So we're going to ask our fans out there who's going to be for and who's going to be against. Ron against.
Against.
So I'm for it. So I'm for it being overrated. And you're against it being overrated. So you think it's
underrated.
You think it's good. It was what he did was above Wilt Chamberlain.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So if you want to start the timer.
I feel like I get screwed all the time.
Every time because you argue so well, Ron.
Yeah.
All right. When the clock begins,
go.
The countdown. All right. So I am for it. So if you look at what Wilt Chamberlain did, he averaged 41.5 points a game with the Golden State Warriors. He did that. He was the all-time leading scorer with 6 seasons. Steph Curry is now 12 seasons in. He's averaging 30 points a game. He's shooting 43% from the three-point, right? 2,562 three-pointers made in his career with the Golden State Warriors. You know how many Wilt Chamberlain made? 0, because they didn't even have a three-point line back then. So he did this all, if you think about it, down low, nitty-gritty, 41 points a game in 6 seasons, in half the time that Steph Curry did it. We're going to make a big deal out of it because Steph Curry passed him. But if you look at it realistically, Steph Curry in 6 seasons wasn't even halfway there. So to me, Wilt was much better at what he did, and more important.
Oh, your time is up.
That is the time.
You know what that sound is? That's the sound of me winning. That's the sound of me winning.
Whenever
because
you're
I'm
ready.
not giving him a freebie like I did last week.
Oh, I like a freebie. Whenever you're
A
ready.
freebie.
Whenever you're
I'm ready.
You are ready. You are against us.
Yes. So all those numbers for Wilt Chamberlain, yay, yay, yay. Wilt did not win a championship. None. 0 in those 6 years. So I don't care what his numbers are. I don't care. It doesn't matter because it didn't result in anything. Steph resulted in championships. Steph led that team to championships. That is what we play the games for, isn't it, people? Isn't it? So it doesn't matter how long it took him. He still put up those numbers. He still put the baskets in, especially in those championships. I don't need the rest of the 10 seconds. That's good.
So if you're averaging 41 points a game, what is the rest of the team doing when Steph Curry built super teams and basically won championships by bringing players
Wilt
over?
needed to make other players better. He didn't do it.
Obviously, his players couldn't do it if he's averaging 41 points. The rest of the team couldn't score.
Right, because they don't have the
20
ball.
rebounds.
He thought it was the whole team. That makes my point even more.
Draymond Green, right? Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant. You're going to honestly
0
say
championships
that Steph Curry
for
was the
Wilt.
reason they won those championships?
0. We just made the point with the Celtics putting them in order, and we just got done saying 11 championships. That's what the reasons were, right? That's why we put him up first.
We were debating about a scoring champion, being the all-time leading scorer, not about being champion.
It doesn't matter.
That's a different argument.
It doesn't matter.
Clearly, I won. The fans out there, what do you think?
It
Ron
was-
or Eric won that? Yeah, it's a tie right now. We need the fans out there that are watching live.
All right, Tim,
Let's
come
vote.
on. You know I was right.
That was absolutely
So does Jeffrey. He knows I'm right.
Jeff, no idea, right? Eric won that debate.
0. That's
Super,
all you need.
super
0.
teams. You are the first person to say you hate super teams, and now you're literally making an argument about a super team winning championships. You are contradicting
It's
yourself.
championships.
You are contradicting
So
yourself.
are you when we put the honor in Russell.
All right, that was our face-off. I hope you enjoyed that. We're going to debate every week on any topic we decide to.
And you guys can actually decide the topics.
And you can, write into the show. Let us know. We appreciate any feedback you can give us.
Like who the best fan is,
Who is the best fan right now? I don't know. It might not be. We got live studio audiences tonight, so we're excited. So I'm telling you right now, these are becoming our number one fans. We love it. All right, let's go on to our predictions. So last week we picked 3 of the same, and the one we didn't pick, you won.
This could be the comeback.
So you are starting to make a comeback. I think
Yes,
that's
I
2 weeks in a
am.
row that you've actually won the predictions.
Yes.
So we're gonna have to see this week.
Not a surprise though.
Oh, yeah, we go. He just lost the face off, and now he's talking.
The
about
loss. That was a clear win. Even he knows it, and he picked you.
So let's go. NHL on April 17th, Oilers at the Jets. And it's not Benny, okay? So it's not Benny and the Jets.
No Benny?
No,
Wait, he's not playing?
Benny, I don't know.
I'm
glad our fans got that reference.
I think Edmonton obviously has the more firepower, but I like this Jets team. And I think the Jets are going to take that because they're going to start playing some desperate hockey. Like all these teams, you got 12 to 15 games left to play, and the Jets need these wins. So I think the Jets being at home are going to take that one.
All right. Just because I need to get back in the winning ways, I'm going to go Oilers, and I'm going to go for every reason other than what you said. How's that? How's that for some insight?
Ride McDavid.
419, we got the Hurricanes at the Lightning.
Lightning.
I want to go the other way, but I can't. Lightning, again, made a couple trades. Still the top team, I think.
Yeah, Hurricanes, they don't have enough horses now. They're going to start fading.
So it'll be interesting to see how far the Lightning can go. NBA, what about the Suns at the Bucks? That's on April 19th.
That's going to be a good game. But I'm going to go
Phoenix?
Bucks. They're at home. So, I like the Suns, but they got to play at Milwaukee, and I'm going to go home team.
So I'm going Phoenix, and I'm going to tell you that the Phoenix Suns actually have the best record in the last, I think it was 2 months.
Yeah.
They're just destroying teams. I think it all came together. Chris Paul, as much as we talked about this on a previous show, I think he's got the right balance on that team now to possibly win a championship with the Suns. They're a surprise team in the West for me. What about the Nuggets at the Trailblazers? That's on April 21st.
Well, the Nuggets are treading water with that injury, and I think this is where they go under. This is where the ship does not sail anymore. This is the beginning of their big sinking, and Trailblazers.
I'm going Nuggets. I'm going to disagree with everything you said about the Nuggets. I think they still have enough quality players to be a compete.
So I'll probably win this week too. All the reasons that you chose.
Yep. All right. So if you're joining us once again, we're on Rhode Island Broadcasting every Friday night on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitch, at Sports Unfolded on Facebook and Twitter, and Sports_Unfolded on Instagram. We've had a good show. Sir John Fernucci, of the CEO and president of Providence Pirates, joined us tonight. If you didn't get to watch it, just rewatch it. Great interview with the Providence Pirates CEO and president. Obviously, I won the pick and roll and face off this
You win
week.
nothing.
So, I mean,
You lost all of it.
So
clearly. Well, the pick and roll, we both picked the same.
A good point, but my point's more valid than yours. That's what I'm going with. So next week, if you're going to join us, we are going to discuss the Patriots draft options, some of their options going in the draft coming up, because the draft will be a week away from next week's show, or a little less than a week away. What about the Celtics turnaround? We're going to discuss the Celtics and what's had their turnaround. So the Celtics have won a few straight here, so they're starting to look like they've turned their season around. Interesting.
Yeah, and just a quick point there, Jeffrey. NBA doesn't play defense anymore. Yeah, defense has been horrible this year.
It's the way the league goes.
Yeah.
What about we'll discuss possible MVP race in the NBA, who we feel might be the MVP currently, and then our pick and roll. It's up in the air, but I think we'll go the all-time great Lakers since we already discussed it. We'll do the all-time great Lakers next week, and then we'll see about doing that New England.
So many possibilities.
Yeah. No, really great show tonight. If you haven't watched our show before, what we do to finish our show off is we do a final thought, and our final thought can be about anything that's going on in sports or outside of sports. It doesn't necessarily mean it's about sports. It's just something that we feel, personal about, and that we want to just get out there. So you went first last week, so I'll go first this week, and you'll finish us off. My final thoughts on Yu Chang. He received racial tweets after having thrown an error against the White Sox, causing the Cleveland Indians to lose the game. And it's just sad that this continues. I think this is the third or fourth time now that I've had this conversation. But as a society, what are we thinking about when we hit send? But also, how about the fact that if you're that good and you are that confident as a human being and as a person, get on the field and show them how it's done and see if you make that same mistake. Because it's easy to criticize somebody when you're behind a monitor and you're typing away. But these guys are playing and trying to provide us with some entertainment, and all they're getting is backlash when they make a mistake. Not everybody's perfect. Not everybody's going to make every play or every throw or every hit. But at the end of the day, if you could do it better, do it. Right? He didn't come back and he didn't respond with a tweet or some negative comment about that person. So he's showing his class. Point. At the same time, I'd like to see these guys that have, the audacity to do it, get on that field and show us how it's done.
They're behind a keyboard for a reason. Keyboard,
absolutely.
Monitor. They're behind there for a reason.
That's where they
can't do it.
That's where they're big.
So put your money where your mouth is.
Absolutely.
My final thought is simply, if you want to see excitement, watch Stanley Cup playoff games. You want to see nonstop action, whether it's hitting, finesse, great scoring, solid defense, great goaltending. Watch the Stanley Cup playoffs. Because to me, there is nothing that is more exciting than watching Stanley Cup playoff hockey. And you really need to experience, being there. If you can be there, go watch a game, because it's intense. And from the drop of the puck to the end of the game, it's like these games are grueling. And all these teams that have all these stars on it are going to battle day in, day out. And there's really nothing better than that. There really isn't. Experience it.
It's fast paced. It's enjoyable. Fans should definitely go out there and watch that. So thank you once again joining us on Rhode Island Broadcasting. We appreciate all our fans out there. We appreciate the feedback. Again, we are doing live studio audiences. If you are interested, reach out to the show. We can provide the details on how that will work. We are COVID safe, so we will make sure that we are following all COVID protocols if you do join us in studio. Ron, it's been a pleasure tonight.
Always a pleasure.
Great show, episode 9. So we're excited. To the fans out there, we want to thank you for joining us, and you have a great night.
Take care. See you next week.